Alright, now we've got the real video record going on, you know, because everybody want to put their cameras on, but, you know, I'm the one with the HD.
I got HD.
You know what I mean?
What we got here?
Y'all got, y'all ain't got no HD. Nah, I roll with her. She might have some HD on that boy right there.
We are so retarded. This video is gonna be hilarious.
She might have some HD.
Recording of the recording.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do.
I'm gonna stop this and start again because this is the entrance. Okay.
Man, I'm coming in like I came like just right now. Entering into the MLK.
Oh. No, I know. I thought you just
unbelievable.
Wow.
Wow. I can just feel the energy.
Everybody's silent.
Wow. It's a moment of silence.
Jaden, read the wall, not touch the wall. Come back and read. Only the light, only good people can do that. They don't hate and not drive out hate. Only love can do that. So that means you have to love one another, right? Are you doing Hannah? Yes, Tom. We're doing video right now. This is 1763. Honey, right now we're doing video. That's it. These are all the quotes that Dr. Martin Luther King said, and he uses that in games. He said this one in Norway in what? 1963.
Our loyalty must transcend poverty.
Caitlin, come stand in front of this. Okay. Clear move.
Get him in? Come on.
I'm not gonna lose you. I'm just trying to get on my videos, then I can take pictures.
You saw the screen. You saw statements everywhere. You saw tear gas everywhere. You saw billy clubs flailing with tear gas everywhere. You saw demonstrators running everywhere, and some of them were women. People who saw it on television, they thought for sure this was happening somewhere else in the world. It was happening right here in Selma, Alabama, United States of America. Once again, it's caught on video by the media. And this footage is not just simply seen in Selma, Montgomery. It's not just simply seen in Alabama. It's not just seen throughout the United States. It is seen around the world. And once again, the United States is being asked by other nations, okay, freedom and democracy, we've heard that before. But how do you explain what's happening to your people?
All right, come on.
The result was the voters' right to be free. A few days after that, they started rioting in Watts. Watts is in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is not a southern town. It was in the north. Doc ends up taking his movement to Chicago. They end up uncovering these unfair real estate tactics. They have a couple, black couples, white couples, exact same qualifications. This is black couple and said, look, we're trying to buy a house and nothing's available. Well, what about over? Nothing's available. How about nothing's available? What about nothing? They leave. 30 minutes later, white couple go in. Where's your look, right here we got some over. Here we got some over. Here we got, and they uncovered the fact that people were being steered. And eventually, I think in 60 probably signed some legislation along that line too. Long story short, Doc is marching in Chicago. He's got a guy on this side, a guy on this side. He's being interviewed. He's walking, and I mean, this crowd is going crazy. And you hear what sounds to be a car backfiring, and you see Doc go down, and they're trying to cover his head. Doc gets back up. He says, "Look, I've marched in Mississippi. I've marched in Alabama, and never have I seen this type of hostility as I have seen here in Chicago." That was a northern town. Doc ended up making a deal with Mayor Daley, and they left Chicago. A lot of people thought Doc sold Doc. We had to rate Chicago and in the win column or the down column. We have to mark that as an F. Chicago was a loss for Doc. In 1967, Doc was frustrated with this movement. This war of poverty was not being won, and Doc's reason for it, his rationale was, the reason why we're not winning this war of poverty is because we're fighting another war halfway around the world in Asia. April 4th, 1967, exactly 1 year to the day of Doc's assassination. He's at Riverside Church in New York City, and he comes out publicly against the Vietnam War. And he's got a lot of reasons. Now, before I tell you those reasons, I want to tell you something I read earlier today. I was reading where Robert McNamara, the Secretary of State, ended up, he had this initiative of recruiting, drafting 100,000 individuals a year from the category that a year previously people would not have been allowed into the military. People who had low test grades and who scored low on their IQ. Now, it's like, okay, so explain this. Well, we can talk for hours about test grades and IQ. You know, if you didn't have the educational opportunity that other folk have, you may score low. And IQ, listen, unless you've grown up in the lifestyle of the individuals who wrote that IQ test, you may not do well on that either. So, you know, they're talking about these people in the lower category, but surprisingly, those individuals who fought out of those categories did just as well as individuals who were not. So, you know, we could dismiss this thing, oh, you know, they're just saying things. Maybe they haven't been exposed, maybe they haven't been taught. So going into 1967, Doc does this sermon, and three of his points. He says, number one, we shouldn't be in Vietnam, he says, because this is a civil war, and these individuals should be allowed to work their own destiny out. He says, number two, there is a large proportion of poor young men who are having to go fight this war. I was reading an interview with my children this morning, who's commanding general in Vietnam, and the interviewer at one point asked me, says, well, if leadership was an issue, why didn't you get young men from Harvard, from Yale, and from Princeton? Well, we call that in chess, checkmate. All he can do is tell the truth. He says the reason why we couldn't was because we couldn't touch them. They all had academic deferments. Now you say, well, that's cool. The kids should be able to, you know, finish school. Well, let me just say this. Some kids did not have to go to Vietnam, while a lot of other ones did. I will also say this. There were some kids who probably didn't